guys. So I'm gonna do a heart to Hannah. I haven't done one in a really long time, so I thought I would do one. What type of dog is Haku? I'll try and answer most of the Haku questions right now. Haku, I don't know. I plan on doing a DNA test for him if I can find one in Korea, but most likely we'll do one when I get back to the States, just so I can like understand everything that the DNA test comes with, because it'll all be in English. But right now he's like very slim looking because his fur was shaven down because he had a skin condition when they got him and they needed to treat the condition. So his hair is like growing back, which is why his head looks like fluffy, and then his body is really thin looking. But he when they found him, he was actually quite fluffy looking, so I'm assuming he'll be like a very fluffy looking dog. How and when did you know that you were ready for a new dog? And then how did you feel when you adopted Haku? So I felt like I was ready for a new dog when I came to Korea because, one, I felt really lonely. The only people I knew here were like a couple of friends, and then just everybody that Jimmy knew from work that he was also like kind of meeting for the first time. It kind of felt like those experiences I told you guys before, where I felt like I was kind of just following him around, and all of his friends were his friends first and then my friends kind of second, if that makes sense, which may change in the future, but that's what it feels like now. And so I felt really lonely, and I had never felt this lonely before because I always had Pepper. And I moved here without him. If you guys didn't know, Pepper passed away. And so I was really feeling like something was missing from my life, and I never thought I would, I don't know. I never thought I would get another dog after Pepper because like he was my soul dog. But Jimmy actually agreed to also wanting a dog. So we kind of looked around, and Jimmy doesn't really get like that attached to dogs. I'm kind of like, every dog, I will love every dog kind of thing, but Jimmy's very much like, I know who I am and I know what kind of dog I need. And he saw Haku and saw his personality type on the website and fell in love with him. So that's how we ended up getting Haku. Obviously like applying and going through the trial period and stuff, but yeah. Oh, and also, how did you feel when you adopted Haku? I mean, I'm very excited, but he's always felt like he was gonna be mine after like the first week of having him. So what is the biggest challenge you've had since moving to Korea? How is it adjusting in Korea? I have a lot of these. So I really like Korea a lot. I think it's like the same, but it's different than living in the United States for sure. I think besides like getting accustomed to like some differences between the countries, I think it's more the language and kind of having an identity crisis. So I am Korean American, but my parents didn't really speak to me in Korean growing up, and I never like lived with my grandparents because my mom's parents died very early, and then my dad's parents lived in Korea, and I guess like I just never really traveled to Korea that much. I don't remember just being with them or growing up with them, so I never really like learned the language. And then the town I grew up in was a small town at the time in Texas, and so I'm very American. I think I also know that I'm Korean, but I grew up in America. I only spoke English. My parents only really spoke English to me. The problem is when I'm here, I'm Korean, but I'm really not Korean because I don't understand a lot of what anyone's saying to me, which is why I'm taking Korean classes here. But I feel like I should understand what they're saying, and I'm so disappointed and ashamed that I don't. And so I feel like I'm just having an identity crisis. So basically that's like my biggest adjustment here. And luckily, like, there's a lot of people, strangers, who are really nice, and they'll try and like help me through what I'm trying to say to them. But then there's also like a lot of people who are like, I don't have time to help this girl figure out what she's trying to say. And they either like run away from me or just dismiss me, which is fine. But I would say that's been a really tough adjustment. When are you getting married? Okay, so I think I haven't really like talked about this because we have been really busy moving here. But we're not planning on getting married anytime soon. So basically we want to get married in China, like have a formal wedding in China, because Jimmy's grandparents live there and they are too old to travel. But because of China's COVID rules, we can't go there right now. Anyways, we were talking to Jimmy's mom about it to keep us updated on when she thinks that we can come to China, because we really want to have a wedding there. We just can't right now. 2, we will be having like an American wedding, like in America, because all our friends are there. So that probably won't happen until after a couple years. What's Jimmy's job and in which company? Okay, so I know I haven't uploaded on this channel in a really long time, but I'm going to be uploading a video on Hey Jana, which is linked in the description box all the time. And Jimmy actually filmed like a really long video about questions that you asked him during quarantine. And I never realized that I had the footage, so I actually I think it'll be uploaded by now, so you can go watch that if you want to know more about Jimmy, because I know a lot of you guys wonder like, how did Jimmy move here, or how did we both move here, how did he get a job here? So he'll have more details on that. How to get over friends who've ghosted / ignore you. It's always hard for me to move on. I don't know what it is, but I feel like I'm actually quite a sensitive person when it comes to this kind of stuff. I tend to do this thing where I'm like, if somebody ghosts me or ignores me, I'm like, fine, well then I don't want to be friends with you. And then I kind of play the cold shoulder thing, but I also forgive really fast. So the minute they text me, I'm like, hi. But I think like if it happens a lot, I don't know if it's just because like I'm getting older or something, I've learned to kind of recognize the people that I feel like ghost me, and then take the time to like explain why they ghosted me or ignore me, because they have like a reason that they ignored me, and we work it out from there, because I understand that everybody has a lot of things going on in their life, and sometimes like you just don't want to talk, and then there's people that are just mean. So I think like as time goes on, you kind of figure out which is which. Personally for me, recognizing like, are these really my friends, or do I just not like being rejected? And then working on recognizing people that I want in my life and that are good for me, and in turn, am I good for them? Like kind of just stuff like that. I don't really know like a how-to. I just feel like I kind of got used to myself as I got older, and I feel like I kind of have a better handle on that now. How to not be as insecure when your partner goes out. Example, boyfriend going to Vegas with friends, me thinking about strip clubs and feeling jealous. Okay, I think that if he's your boyfriend, I'm guessing you're like in a monogamous relationship with your boyfriend. I think it's like kind of like a boundary thing. Obviously you, or maybe not obviously, but I'm guessing because you're saying me thinking about strip clubs and feeling jealous means that you don't want him to go to strip clubs. Like you're not comfortable with him going to strip clubs. I mean, I would just kind of tell him. Like, and I feel like I'm forgetting how hard it is to, like, when you're dating someone, to kind of open up about like insecurities like that, because jealousy is, it's just one of those things that you just don't want to admit, you know. I think I'm so comfortable with Jimmy that if I ever get jealous, I'm just like, I just tell him that I am, and it ends up being like funny later, and he is really understanding, and we talk about it, and it always gets better. So I'm thinking that, like, if he's like going out, I would just ask him to like not text you consistently or constantly throughout the night, but maybe more like, hey, just wanted to let you know we're at this club now. And then like maybe a few hours later, like, hey, just wanted to let you know I'm out with XYZ. And then maybe a few hours later, like, hey, going to bed, whatever. I'm back at the hotel going to bed. Or like, I don't know how the younger generation does it, but I feel like Snapchat's a big thing. So maybe like have him share like Snapchat videos of his nights out, just so you can feel like more included in his night out. And I'm not saying this to be like, he should be constantly like sending you stuff. I'm more saying like, I think it just sounds like a fair compromise to ask your significant other to like lightly sprinkle in some updates about your nights out, just so you like feel comfortable. And eventually I think that you will feel comfortable enough that like he won't really have to do that as much anymore. But that's just kind of like how I could see it progressing. I don't really know. I feel like it kind of depends on you two. But if you and I were sitting in front of each other right now talking, that's what I would say. Okay, this is kind of, this question hurts, but I'm like, and I don't want to answer it because I'm like kind of, I feel weird about it, but like, I feel like I'm always gonna be honest with you guys. So, general question, your average views have been dropping recently. And I was wondering if it affected you at all, or if you're struggling with it currently. I feel like my views are probably maybe not as high as they used to be. I feel like they're okay though. Like I'm trying not to get so fixated on it, because I actually have been really enjoying making the stuff that I make right now. And I try not to like look at that number. And maybe I should, because it's my job. But then when I think about it like that, I really don't enjoy it. And then I get really, really like in a not good place. So I think before it affected me a lot and I was struggling a lot. And now I think that I still feel like my self-worth is a little bit tied to those statistics. But I think it's actually less so now, because I don't really know why. I think I try to practice not looking at that number so much, and I just get messages a lot from you guys like saying that you really like my videos and that they make you feel better after a long day or if you have a bad day. And I feel like that's kind of what is keeping me, it's like part of what's keeping me going. I feel like that there are still a lot of you guys who like my videos and like the things that I like and like me. And I like you guys too. So I'm actually having a good time making these vlogs and stuff. I guess I am struggling because my self-worth does feel tied to my social media, and I will sometimes archive or delete posts, especially on Instagram, that I don't feel like do well enough or whatever, but I'm trying to stop doing that. But I feel like it's just a process, you know. I think those are all the questions that I'm gonna answer. I did get a lot of questions about what I'm studying at school at Sogang University, and I think I'll just talk about that later, because it actually has only been a couple weeks since I've started this class, and then it was Chuseok, so we didn't have like any class for almost a week. So I kind of just want to take the class a little bit more before I, at least like after my first exams, just so I can give you my honest opinion on it, and then I'll like obviously recommend it and give you more details. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this like Q&A hard to Hana thing. Again, if you want to learn about Jimmy's whole thing about moving to Korea, I'm gonna link it down below. Yeah, I will talk to you guys next time. Bye bye.